You've worked hard for every dollar you earn. You've sacrificed time, energy, and sometimes even your health to keep things afloat. Maybe you're a parent trying to shield your kids from the financial stress you feel daily. Maybe you're young, just stepping into the world of work, overwhelmed by bills and unsure where to even begin. Or maybe you reapproaching retirement and suddenly realizing that what you've saved won't last half as long as you need it to. No matter your situation, this isn't where your story ends. In fact, this might be the moment it finally begins. Because today, you are going to learn about a simple rule. A rule so powerful that it can turn your salary into real, lasting wealth. It's called the Rule of 72. And once you understand how it works, you'll never see money or time the same way again. The Rule of 72 is one of those things that sounds almost too simple to be true. But the simplicity is exactly what makes it life-changing. Here is how it works. Take the number 72 and divide it by your investment's annual interest rate. The result? The number of years it will take for your money to double. So if you invest in something that gives you a 6% annual return, 72 divided by 6 equals 12 years. That means whatever you invest will double in 12 years. Now imagine this with real money. You invest $5,000 at 6%, but if you're living paycheck to paycheck, you might be thinking, that's great in theory, but I can barely breathe under my debt. And you're right, debt is heavy. It steals not only your money, but your hope. But here's the truth no one tells you. You don't get out of debt by focusing on the debt. You get out by shifting your entire mindset. Instead of only thinking, how do I pay this off, you ask, how do I grow beyond this? The Rule of 72 is a flashlight in that dark tunnel. It shows you that even small steps forward, if consistent, can break the cycle. Even if all you have is $50 a month to invest, that seed can grow. And when it starts to grow, something changes in you. You stop feeling like a victim of your finances and start becoming the architect of your future. It's easy to feel overwhelmed by all the financial advice out there. Stocks, bonds, real estate, crypto. Where do you even begin? But the Rule of 72 reminds us that you don't need complexity to create wealth. You need patience and consistency. That's the trap most people fall into. They want to get rich fast, not wealthy slow. But fast money often leads to faster losses. What builds real wealth is time, strategy, and discipline. Just ask Warren Buffett, one of the richest men on the planet, who famously said, "Someone is sitting in the shade today because someone planted a tree a long time ago." That's what you're doing. You're planting. Even if it doesn't feel like much now, one day, your future self will thank you. For not waiting, for not giving up, for starting small and thinking big. Let me give you an example that hits close to home. Imagine a 30-year-old woman named Julia. She works a modest job, earns $2,500 a month, and after rent, food, and gas, she has $150 left. Most people would spend that on a dinner out or a few extras. But Julia chooses differently. She decides to invest that $150 every month into a fund earning 8% a year. Using the Rule of 72, we know her money will double every 9 years. That means by the time she's 39, her money has doubled once. At 48, doubled again. At 57, again. Still, the hardest part isn't the numbers. It's the mindset. Many of us grew up hearing that money was scarce, that investing was risky, or that we just weren't the type of people who could build wealth. That kind of conditioning sticks. It whispers doubts every time you think about doing something different. But here's the thing. Every person who's ever become wealthy had to push through that same fear. They had to believe in a version of themselves they hadn't seen yet. That's what you're doing right now. You're rewriting the story. You're telling your past that it no longer controls your future. That belief, that courage to start, is more powerful than any financial tool. And let's talk about retirement. Because many people think it's a distant dream, or worse, something they'll never afford. But retirement isn't about an age. It's about freedom. The freedom to stop working when you want to, not when you're forced to. The freedom to spend your days how you choose, not how someone else schedules. The Rule of 72 gives you a blueprint for that freedom. If you know how long it takes your money to double, you can reverse engineer your future. You can set a target and reach it. But only if you start early. The later you wait, the harder the math works against you. Which is why today matters so much more than tomorrow. Don't wait to have enough to invest. Invest so that one day you'll finally have more than enough. You might be wondering, what if I make mistakes? You will. Everyone does. But the cost of doing nothing is always higher than the cost of doing something imperfectly. You don't need to be a financial expert to use the rule of 72. You just need to get in the habit of asking the right questions. What is the return on this investment? How long until it doubles? What's the real cost of not investing? These aren't complicated questions, but they are powerful. They keep you focused on the long game, the game most people never learn to play. And once you start thinking in decades, not days, everything changes. Your decisions become smarter, your spending becomes intentional, and your future starts to feel less like a fantasy and more like a plan. Let's zoom out for a moment. You're not just investing money. You're investing meaning. You're changing the story for your kids, for the next generation. Imagine what happens when your children see you investing. When they grow up understanding compounding, saving, and strategy. When they stop thinking wealth is only for other people. That ripple effect is priceless. Because the greatest inheritance isn't money, it's mindset. And the rule of 72 isn't just a financial formula, it's a legacy strategy. A way to teach your family that discipline today creates freedom tomorrow, and that more than any possession is the greatest gift you can give. And here's the part no one talks about. Wealth is emotional. It's not just numbers on a screen. It's peace of mind. It's sleeping without fear. It's saying yes to your kids without checking your bank balance first. It's knowing that no matter what happens in the world, you're not at the mercy of a paycheck. That kind of security can't be bought. It has to be built. And the rule of 72 is one of the simplest, most powerful bricks in that foundation. Whether you're in debt, just starting out, or playing catch-up before retirement, you can use this rule. You can apply it today, and in doing so, take the first real step toward financial independence. But maybe the most important thing to remember is this: you don't have to be perfect. You just have to be consistent. The rule of 72 doesn't reward speed, it rewards repetition. $100 a month, $50 a week. Whatever you can do it, and do it again next month. Because the true secret isn't in timing the market. It's in time in the market. It's in the months and years where nothing seems to be happening, until suddenly everything changes. That's how compounding works. Quietly, powerfully, behind the scenes. Until one day, you look back and realize you did it. You turned your salary into real wealth, not through luck, but through choice. Now the choice is yours. You can close this video and go back to what you were doing, or you can take one step today. Open a simple investment account. Read more. Start tracking your money. Talk to your family. Share this knowledge. Because this journey isn't just about money. It's about reclaiming your power, your vision, your future. And if no one ever told you this before, let me be the first. You are capable. You are worthy. And it is not too late. Not even close. If this message resonated with you, share it with someone you care about. Someone who needs to hear that they're not stuck. They're just one decision away from a different life. Subscribe for more content like this, because together we're not just learning about money. We're building the kind of future we can be proud of. Brick by brick, choice by choice. Let today be the first of many.